this is Tina. Welcome back to my channel. So we're here for another one of my favourite projects from 2019 revisited, and I couldn't not do the faux postage stamps that were originally inspired by Anne-Lise Ryan. So I will link her video again at the end of this video because she came up with that idea, so I do want to credit her. So if you didn't catch either her or my first video, what we're going to need, I've got these postage mark stamps. These were recollections. As you can see, I don't look after my stamps. My packaging's all ripped, so I've actually lost most of the stamps. I haven't lost them. They're, just floating around in a packet. But this one is really quite a nice, handy sort of stamp. I don't know what these are actually called. Let me just have a look. It says here vintage ads, so whether or not these are maybe even in the wrong packaging. Oh, they might have been. I don't know. Anyway, those are the postage stamp postmark stamps that I'm going to be using. I have then got my decollage scissors. These are just cheapy, kids ones. I've got my normal scissors. I've got my obviously distress blender tool and things. And then what I've brought along is some little pictures which are going to be just, perfect sizes for popping onto my little postage stamps. Now these pictures, I know that I've showed these books loads of times before, but these are brilliant. So this is the Children's Encyclopedia, edited by Arthur Mee here, and this one here happens to be volume 6. I was really lucky and managed to get a set of volumes. I think there were, I actually can't remember, to be honest. I bought them a couple of years ago, so it might have been 4 books or 5 books. But I've actually gone through 2 of the books complete, in their entirety now. But they're fantastic books, and I know that I have showed them before, so I don't want to kind of really bore people. But for those people who haven't seen them, they're fantastic because they've got such a range of pictures and images. And all sorts of topics and things. We've got these gorgeous pictures here, lots of architecture pictures, which I always love, architecture kind of images and things. So loads of really nice pictures. You've got your wildlife and nature and things like that. And the other thing that I always really love is these kind of portraits. For some reason, yeah, I just really love using these types of things. So these are really useful books. And to be honest, I mean, I've just said that this is volume 6. So, I mean, you definitely don't need to get like 4 volumes, like I did. It was just they happened to be for sale that way. But I don't know whether I've got like, say, volume, 2 to 6 or something like that. But they all contain very similar format. So all of them contain a good range of a variety of subjects in the pictures and things. So, I don't know how much these are if you looked them up on eBay or Amazon or something like that. But if you could get one for quite a good price, I think you'd get your money's worth. Yeah, so that's that. Now, I'm just going to pop that to one side and show you the pictures that I have selected. So I've got here, this one here, which as you can see is a little sort of flower picture. So I'm just going to cut that out. I mean, it just happens that these are all black and white, these images, but that's just kind of how it is. You don't have to just use black and white pictures. But I just thought these were really good sizes. And then on the other side of that, there is this picture here, which again is a good size. So I'm just going to cut that one out like that. Okay, and then I've got here these nice images of trees. I mean, to be honest, those for me are probably a little bit big, that I probably won't use those. So I'm going to be ruthless and, wow, actually throw away a whole piece of paper there. So then I'm just going to take these beautiful portraits. Well, I guess beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Some people might not consider these very beautiful. But these people from history, and I'm just going to cut out a couple that I think might look quite good on a postage stamp. So I'm going to go for, I think, this one here. To be fair, this one might be quite dark, and actually the postage mark might not show up particularly well on him, but that's fine. And then I might go for decisions. I mean, to be honest, it doesn't really matter. Let's just take these here. In fact, let's take this lady as well. Just want to get a few there. So just pop that to the side. And then here I've got these gorgeous pictures, people and scenes in France, this says. So again, I mean, these, as you can see, are quite a bit bigger, but I can trim them down a bit. So I'm just going to take this one here and possibly this one here, I think, because I think they're quite nice. So I'm just trimming this in a bit because it's quite a large picture. So just, you know, trimming it down so it's not quite so big. Just trim that across the top a bit. Wow, don't think I've made a very good job of cutting that, but never mind. And then we'll just take, oops, let me just trim that. Just take this middle picture, I think. And again, I'm just going to trim into this a little bit because it's a bit on the bigger side. Okey-dokey. So I've got those, and what I also wondered whether they might make quite nice postage stamps is my little tickets. So suppose we've got, you know, something a bit more colourful to work with as well. These are just on normal copy paper, so they're not on anything special. I'm just going to cut them down because obviously where they're tickets, they're sort of longer. So I'm just going to cut into those slightly. Like that. And I'm just doing all of my cutting quickly now. I'm hoping that that's going to be an efficient way to have done this. Time will tell. Okie dokie, I'll just trim that down. Now, again, it's completely up to you how you do these. I mean, I've seen other people who kind of do these and they cut their backgrounds and they cut their stamps, or their, you know, this is what I'm classing the stamp being a sort of piece. I personally am likely to make a mistake if I do things like that. So I like to just cut my inner section down, i.e. my image for my stamp, and then I place it onto the back and cut the back to the size of the image, if that makes sense. So just pop those into the bin, and I'm just going to cut these little portraits out like that. There's one, and I'll just cut these two gentlemen out. So I hope everyone's having a good day. Hope you're all getting some crafting done. Hope you're enjoying these revisited projects. I mean, you know, I'm still working my way through comments, but touch wood, you know, a lot of people have said that they didn't see the first videos of the other videos that I've posted. So, you know, that's what I'd sort of hoped, is that it would be a nice recap for those people who didn't obviously see the originals, because of course, you know, not everybody watches every video, of course, you know. And I mean, some people obviously weren't subscribers, or, you know, at the time, so it's nice to do a bit of a refresher, really. Now, I'm just going to get some book page to pop these onto. So excuse me, just reaching down into my stash. No, I haven't got any to this side there. When I did the last video, I actually used the encyclopedia book pages. Now, these pages are quite thin. Well, they're not too thin actually, that's not quite true, but I thought I would go for a different book page, and now I can't actually kind of see any that's just right. But what you could do is, of course, back them onto your just coffee dyed paper. You know, that would be perfectly nice too. So let's do a couple on that, and then we'll try and do a couple on some book page as well. So all I'm going to do is pop my images down onto what effectively is my, you know, the base of the postage stamp. So that's the first one. And then we'll do one of the portraits, I think, on here. I mean, as you can see, these are much, much smaller. So, I mean, for these smaller ones, might even use a different postage stamp. You know, the stamp, if that makes sense. There we go. And we'll pop on this blue one. And I'm just leaving quite a big space because then that gives me plenty of room for cutting around, you know, without encroaching onto the next stamp, if that makes sense. So we'll just pop this one down here. And I think in the original video I maybe did some with some napkin images and things like that as well. So, you know, you really can source your images from a variety of places, to be honest. So don't be, you know, don't think if you haven't got that encyclopedia that you can't do this, because you really can. So, and then all you're going to do is cut around your postage stamp. Now, again, I saw this fantastic video, I think it was Junk Journal Ideas, where she used, and I know I've talked about this before, but again, I'm saying this for those people who maybe haven't seen me talking about it and maybe haven't seen her video. She used one of those sellotape dispensers and was able to then get her, you know, what do you call these? Jaggedy, ziggedy, you know, edges for her stamps with that. And it looked fantastic. So if you've got one of those, you might be able to use that instead of your decal edge scissors. But if you haven't, these work fine. I keep meaning to buy one of those sellotape dispensers, and I just constantly sort of forget when I'm out. So, because obviously not everywhere sells them, and they're not the type of thing that just is on the forefront of your mind, really, are they? But eventually I will get one. It's on my list, because they looked, you know, fun to play with. So, and a brilliant way to separate your tickets if you make the ticket strips and things like that. So you can have lots of fun with those types of things. So, okay. So that's those. Let me just pop this out of the way now. Get rid of my little bits and pieces there. Right, so before we do the others, what we'll do is ink these up and mark them with the postage mark stamps, so as you just see how cute these are going to turn out. So let's just check that I haven't got another colour on there. We'll just go round the edge like that, and I'm just going to go in there a bit. That's that one. And we'll do this one. And we'll go on to this one. So, I mean, these images, obviously they started out black and white, but straight away, I mean, you can see now, they're taking on a much more sort of sepia tone. So they look now, you know, really nice and kind of vintagey. I mean, that looks beautiful, doesn't it? And it's just gone from that black and white, which, you know, I mean, I think that looks lovely now in that colour tone. So there we go. Right, nearly done. Just ink up that a bit. Okay, so that's my little postage stamps there. Right, so what we're going to do now is apply, sorry, lost my words there. Apply our postage mark stamp, and this is what's going to transfer or transform your pieces into what effectively will look like postage stamps. So just check I've got that the right way up, and I'm just going to do a little stamp here just to check it's the, you know, it's coming out nicely. And then I'm just going to take my first postage stamp, so take the blue one, just go across that like that, and can you see that it just transforms it then into, you know, what now looks like a postage stamp. So again, we're just going to go now right across this man's face like that, and now he just looks like a postage stamp. Now this one obviously is slightly bigger, so I'm going to do it, I think, this way round, so I get that, I don't know what you call the circular part of the postage mark, but I'll try and get the circle kind of over there. So again, I'm just stamping this a couple of times because obviously, you know, I've not used it for a few weeks, so just want to make sure it's coming out nicely like that. And I mean, that to me just then looks just like a postage stamp. So, and on there we go. Don't they look so cute? I mean, as I say, I cannot claim this to be my idea. It, you know, I originally saw it on Anne-Lise's channel, but I absolutely love how they turned out. So that's those. Now what I'll do, I think, is do a couple on the book page. So I'm just going to use the book page from the encyclopedia. Now to me, I probably won't use that image, so I don't mind using the back of that for my postage stamps. So again, exactly the same as what we've just done. I'm just going to glue my pieces onto here. Like that. And then we'll just take a couple of others. So we take this girl here. I mean, these are just a really super quick project that, you know, come together really nicely, and they're just so cute to just pop them onto your pieces. So I'll just work out which way up that goes. I feel like it goes that way, but there we go. I was completely wrong. I suddenly thought I'll look on the back and see if there's writing, and luckily there was. So I was completely wrong in how I thought it was going. Let's pop it on here. Yeah, these are a really great project to just do. You know, you could do these sat down in the evening. Certainly you could glue them onto the pages. I mean, even if you didn't want to have your stamp beside you and you needed a flat surface or something, you know, if you were sat on the sofa, but you could certainly stick your pieces on and cut them around. And then you could just ink them and stamp them with the postage mark the next day. So, or, you know, later on or whatever. So yeah, I think they're a really fun little project and something quick and easy to do. I mean, I know I've said before, but Sherry from Turquoise Dreaming, I mean, she has some fab ideas for TV crafts, and she also has lunch break crafts, which I did chuckle when I first saw that. But yeah, she has some fab ideas. So I just thought, well, actually, things like this are also quite a nifty little project to just do whilst you're not traveling, sorry, I was just thinking, because she also does a lot of traveling crafts, but I thought these are quite a good little thing to just do whilst you're watching TV in the evening, you know. They're not going to disturb anybody too much because they're not making a lot of noise. And they're just something quite fun to do, aren't they? So there we go. Just trim that one down. And a bit there. And a bit there. Just chop that one down. Okie dokie. And down there. Okay, so we've just got those 4 there. We'll just ink those up. Oh, I've done it again. I keep on dipping my blender into the StazOn. Not recommended. Let me move it to the left and hopefully then it will be less dippable. I'll be less likely to do that. Oh, it's very annoying. Right, okay. So that's her. Luckily now this is glued on to book page. I've got the writing, you know, the text around it, so I can see exactly which way up this is meant to go. Otherwise, I was just, you know, when I come to use it, I would not have a clue which way up it was supposed to be. There we go. Just cover that little punchy hole up as well a little bit. And then we'll take this one. Dokie, right, so we've got those, and we will just now do the transformation now with the postage mark stamp. I'm losing my words today for some reason. Let's pop that across there. I mean, although that covers up the image quite significantly, I love how that looks because, you know, without that, it doesn't necessarily resemble a postage stamp. Whereas once you pop that on, it just really does. So, yeah, don't be afraid to stamp over your images because that's what's going to take it to the next level. You know, make it look like what it's, you know, what you're intending it to look like. So don't kind of be afraid and think, oh no, I'm going to cover up the picture. You know, you need to cover up the picture to achieve the look of the postage stamp. So there we go. That's those. So that's those on the book page and that's those on the coffee dyed paper. To be honest, I like them both and I can't quite decide which I prefer. I don't know as I have a preference really. I think they both look really cool. What do you guys think? Yeah, I like them both. They're just a really fun little project. So that was that project that I just wanted to revisit for anyone who missed it. As I say, I will link Anne-Lise's original video at the end with one of those end screens, and I will try and remember to link my original video as well. So hope that you like them and have fun if you're going to make some. So thanks very much for watching and I will see you all again soon. Thanks then, bye.